Hey, today's video is going to be on a Bricklay perm on short hair. A merm! So here I have Paul Mitchell Acid Wave. This is ideal for tinted and 50% highlighted hair. My guest Jordan has been previously permed before, so this is why I chose the Acid Wave. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take him to the wash house and get his hair nice and clean using Shampoo 3, which is Paul Mitchell's clarifying shampoo. The reason why we're going to use this shampoo is because we really want to make sure that there isn't any buildup or impurities in the hair so that the perm solution can make its way into the cortex and do the dang thing. For Jordan, I went ahead and created a horseshoe section across the parietal ridge. Say that 3 times fast. Everything that is put up into the bun on top is where we will be working. You normally do not need a pre-section for a Bricklay perm. However, I went ahead and did that just for the mere fact that I want you guys to be able to see what area I will be working in. All right, let's start rolling the perm. So my first few rows, when I roll the perm, I'm actually going to roll them forward toward the face. The reason why I'm going to roll them towards the face is because the way that my guest likes to style his hair is he likes those curls to fall over on his forehead just above his eyebrows. So if I was to roll these perm rods backwards, it would give him a heck of a time when he's trying to style his hair because they're ultimately going to want to go backwards instead of forward. So as I'm rolling the hair, I'm using the end paper technique bookend width. The reason why I chose this one in these first few is because the sections are not that wide. As I move through the hair, there are portions when I actually use a double flat wrap, and the reason being is because I needed just a little bit more control of those ends as I was rolling the perm. And hey, shout out to Jamie Gums for replenishing my perm rod stock on my CSA because obviously I underestimated how dense my guest's hair was. Thank you. And can we make a mention of how many times my guest yawned while in my chair? And how funny it looks because of the time lapse. All right, sweet deal. So here is the completed Bricklay wrap. As you can see, all of the perm rods are offset from one another just like you would if you were laying a brick wall. Hence why it's called the Bricklay perm. Now that we have a nice clean Bricklay wrap, I'm going to go ahead and take some cotton and I'm going to wrap that cotton around the entire section. I like to double up on my cotton, so you'll notice that it's going to wrap around completely once and then I'm going to take the other side and wrap it completely around as well, just for double protection. And this is so that when we apply our waving solution, it stops that solution from falling into the guest's face or anywhere that we don't want it to be. All right, it's permin time. So here I have my Acid Wave box. Inside of that box there are 3 components. Our first component is our lovely waving lotion. The second component that we'll be using is our activator. If you take a look at our waving lotion bottle, you will notice that there is room in there for more liquid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that little guy, the activator, small but mighty, and we're going to pour it into our waving lotion. This is when that chemical process is going to start to happen. Something that you'll notice as you hold the bottle is it's going to start to heat up. Then we're going to mix it up just a little bit, nothing too much, just very lightly so that the chemicals can start doing the dang thing. Time to apply the waving lotion. So when you're applying the waving lotion, you want to apply it to the perm rod in an S-like pattern. You really want to make sure that you're getting really good saturation on that rod before you move on to the next one. You'll notice that I'm holding a towel under as I'm applying the solution. Even though we have the cotton there to protect it from dripping, I use the towel just in case a little extra drips. Now that we have fully saturated the hair, we're going to go ahead and take one of our processing caps. And we're going to place it over the section of the perm rods to process. When you're processing this perm, you're going to process it according to manufacturer's instructions. For an acid wave, the processing time is 15 to 20 minutes. Once we have reached the processing time, we're going to do a test curl. You're going to roll a perm rod out 1.5 times and give it a little bounce. What you're looking for is the separation of the curl and that wave pattern starting to form. Once it's good, go ahead and roll it back up to continue on to the next step. Alright guys, it's rinsing time. So now that it is fully processed, we're going to go ahead and get our guests rinsed. We're going to use our rinsing rule, which is rinse the hair for 5 to 10 minutes for 5 inches of hair or less. Add 1 additional minute for every inch of hair after 5 inches, and rinse using warm water and gentle pressure. So if our guest has 20 inches of hair, then we're rinsing for 20 minutes. If they have 5 inches or shorter, we're still going to be rinsing for 5 minutes. Rinse, rinse, baby. Now that our waving lotion has been thoroughly rinsed out, we're going to take a towel and we're going to press this towel against the perm rods using gentle pressure to help pull out any of that moisture from the hair. After we're finished blotting it with a regular towel, we're going to go ahead and take some paper towels and blot the hair one more time. This is really going to ensure that we're getting any of that unwanted moisture out of the hair so that we can make room for our neutralizing solution. Before we apply the neutralizer, you're going to want to let the hair air neutralize for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then out comes our third component, the neutralizer. So now it's time to apply some fresh cotton. Our last ream of cotton got soaked from our waving motion, so before we apply our neutralizer, we're going to need to refresh that bad boy. And just like you did with your waving lotion, you're going to go ahead and saturate those perm rods in an S-like pattern. I like to do this portion at the bowl. Sometimes you can have them sit up if you like, but since I'm just working on the top portion of our guest's hair, it worked just fine to let him lay back and relax. Neutralizing is one of the most important parts of the perm procedure, and the reason being is that this is what rebuilds those bonds in the hair so that it can create that fabulous curl. A lot of the times when the curl has fallen or loosened, or they say maybe that their curl pattern hasn't stayed well enough, most likely it's due to the fact of poor neutralization. So this is why we did all that extra towel blotting before we applied it, so that that moisture wasn't trying to fight the neutralizer, and the neutralizer can get in there and do what it do when it does what it does, baby. Let that process for 5 minutes. Once it's processed, we're going to go ahead and rinse it using the same rinsing roll as before. After it's all rinsed out, we're going to go ahead and take a towel and a paper towel, and we're going to blot it out again. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop those rods. Now, I drop the rods straight into the sink, and I put the end papers into the trash. Once we have all of the perm rods dropped, we're going to go ahead and rinse, and then we're going to towel dry it. Let's get our style on. So I'm using lavender mint conditioning leave-in spray for some moisture. I'm going to spray this generously throughout the hair. After this, I'm going to go in with my favorite product, sculpting foam. One, because it smells really, really good, so that's going to help mask the smell of that perm. Two, it has conditioning agents in it, which is going to be great after this procedure. And three, it gives really good hold and definition to the curl without making it feel all crunchy. Remember that we do not shampoo or condition the hair after the perm procedures, and it is very imperative that you let your guests know that they are not to shampoo or condition their hair for 3 days. 72 hours, people, just to make sure that that perm really stays intact. They can get the hair wet when they take a shower, they just can't use shampoo or conditioner. And here, my friends, is our final product. It's not 100% dry, but it's still looking fly. Thank you all for watching.